I saw George Carlin live when I was 12.
Wow.
Like in Vegas.
Wow.
They fucked up real bad.
Hello and welcome to Joy Agenda, the podcast all about joy with me, Jay Lafferty.
And me, Hannah Campbell. We are recording here at Monkey Barrel Studios, and today we have a very exciting guest. We have comedy promoter Katie Palmer.
Hello.
How are you, Katie?
I'm good. I'm so nervous to be here.
Oh.
I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. Very excited.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you. Brass Tacks is the production company.
Yeah.
You've been going for just over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just scary.
It's scary, but it's gone so quick.
Yes, it's gone very. Yeah, it's great. It's so exciting. It's just happened very fast. So everything still feels like overwhelming in a really fun way. Like the whole thing was that this was supposed to be like a 5-year plan. It was a long term. It was like an idea in a hot tub at Christmas, pissed.
Where all the best ideas come from.
Where all the best ideas come from. And I was like, right, I'm going to make an Instagram page that'll just talk about comedy in Scotland and comedians that I love and Scottish comedians and everything happening in Scotland. And then I'll name it something quite smart that could then in 5 years' time maybe become a production company. And then it was like March. We had 2 fringe acts and like going. And now it's a full-blown job and company and like touring and doing loads of stuff. So it's very exciting, but terrifying.
That's so incredible, though. So it's
Yeah.
just what was spurred that idea that you were just in the hot tub and you're like, I'm just going to start a page. That was it.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, I was almost started saying this before that. So I had like a meltdown in a fun way, a fun meltdown. You know the type where anxiety's high, but in a fun way. Yeah, like a kind of manic.
Yeah.
It was over Christmas, and I was getting a bit New Year, New Me. It just coincidentally I'd been like changed jobs and things, and I think Christmas was the first time I'd had like some downtime, and I went like, right, okay, like what do I want to do? You know, where do I want to be in 5 years? Like started doing all that. And then I had this like manic crisis to the point where I'd be like up in the middle of the night, like writing notes and like trying to like brain dump and stuff. And I remember my like boyfriend found me at like 3 a.m. and he's like, what's going on? And I was like, I can't see a way through. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? And I was like, I can't see a way to run a comedy production company without doing social media. He's like, okay. So I was like, fuck it, we'll do social media. I had no intention of ever like running an Instagram page, but then ended up loving it so much, just getting to like just spout about comedy that I love. And then as I say, it's happened really quickly. But I also, now just like wrote down goals. So then when Jay texted me last night saying, can you come on this podcast? And I was like, no, absolutely not. And then I had to go like, okay, well, part of the goals is to like put yourself out there and like spread the word, blah, blah, blah. So like, fuck it, we're here.
Yes.
Because I asked you a couple of weeks ago and you were busy. And then I was like, I knew it was in the back of my mind. I was like, we're going to get Katie in. And then I kind of, because I know Katie as well, I was a bit like, we're not going to give her a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah, no, I would have chickened out.
Pressure you into the decision.
I would have bailed last minute. When I like couldn't think of enough joyful things, I'd have been like, I simply can't.
So obviously we've got a lot of comedy fans that listen to Joy Agenda, but also there's like people who, you know, they're coming to it from other places. So what's a comedy producer? What is it? What is it you do? Explain to the masses.
Great question. Spreadsheets.
Lots of spreadsheets.
No, we're like, honestly, I find the terminology of producer complicated because it's so vague.
Yeah.
Like, and I have been called a comedy producer in multiple different jobs where I did completely different things. So with Brass Tacks specifically, the Fringe is obviously a huge project. And then the Fringe I feel like is where producer gets thrown around, where actually in any other, outside of the Fringe, you would probably be a promoter.
Yeah.
But so it's, at the moment, we're doing Fringe, tours and directing is kind of the 3 big things. So with Fringe, because that, you know, you're planning that from October till arguably the next October when you finally get paid from like venues and things. So it's a lot of project management in terms of reading all of the emails that all the venues send you, wherein paragraph 6, line 3, there's a deadline in 2 days' time that you have to have like read and got to and figured that out and done a risk assessment or whatever you do, all of the admin, and then all the like promotion of shows, a bit of kind of PR stuff, either working with PRs or working with acts, but then making sure the tickets sell So like,
It's kind of a little bit of everything then.
Bit
You've
of
got to wear a lot of
everything.
hats.
yeah,
A little bit of everything.
It's quite funny because like I have a production company, but it's been very, very basic. But ours was just more about producing like our own work, and then supporting other acts as they were coming up. But it was more in that way of, I think because I kind of came from a TV and film background, a producer just put the money in.
Yeah.
You know, so I think for a lot of things I produce is I just put the money in, like I took the risk for the person. And so it can mean so many different things.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe now why I'm like leaning towards promoter. I feel like that's clearer. Right? Like with tours, it's still project management and spreadsheets and dates and route and travel and logistics. But then I really enjoy the promotion of a tour show. I think because the Fringe is like such a beast, right? So there's no this is what you do and then you have a successful you could do the exact same thing as someone else and have a different experience than them, and it's like street team and on the day. Whereas tours, I feel like you can be more like creative with it, with like the socials and the paid ads and the posters and like, I don't know, that feels a bit more like...
Yeah, it's more of almost like a campaign for the tour, like a marketing campaign, whereas the Fringe, it's kind of just, you're just trying to get noticed in any way, shape or form, and that can be one article that goes your right way or just, so it's very unknown. But the campaigns, I can imagine you kind of build them in and really get into like the analytics and all the data stuff and what works and what doesn't. So,
Which like you can't necessarily do with like who you gave a flyer to and the Fringe. You can't really like collect data in that type of way.
Yeah.
It's quite hard as well, isn't it? Because I think I was in a conversation with somebody quite recently about the difference between an agent and a producer. Because a lot of producers act like agents and a lot of agents act like producers, but they're very different jobs. Yeah. And it's like sometimes people, I don't know, there's a lot of comics who have agents and producers, and I'm going, you're just paying somebody for the same job twice here. So like you need to think about what it is you actually, I think as an act, sometimes we feel so grateful. Like if an agent shows an interest in you or if a producer shows an interest in you, you feel so grateful for it. You just say yes without actually thinking about what is it that I need? Yeah. What support do I need? Do I need the support of an agent or do I need the support of a producer? Yeah. And I would say most acts need the support of a producer because it's... I'm not a big fan of agents. But I think producers, you know, they really help to take a lot of the administrative side that acts are notoriously horrendous at. And help you with that.
Yeah, just absolutely.
Yeah. And because a producer is like more project specific, right? Where an agent is like your whole career. Because I way back thought I would love to be an agent. And then I got like the tiniest glimpse of it and was like, oh, I'll be terrible at I think I would find the highs too highs, the lows too low. I would get too emotionally involved.
That's probably why your Brass Tacks taken off, because you love comedy and you love the act and you're not in it to like make, I'm sure you'd love to make your millions, but you're in it because you love comedy and the acts, and you can tell that from what
you're
you do.
You're a big comedy geek.
Yeah, which is what you want. You want someone that like loves what, is there to support and actually believes in what you're doing, and then means you can trust their advice and
Yeah. And that's a good point. Even like with acts, like for Fringe, as I say, because it's such a long project, that I am trying to think ahead to go like, well, if we're going to do a work in progress for the show anyway, then that may as well be in Manchester. Let's start, doing that kind of thing and trying to think longer term. But ultimately my job is to make sure that you sell enough tickets in August, where like an agent is like, where are you going to be in 10 years time?
Yeah. Or where are you going to be taking me in 10 years? How much 15-20% can I make from you? I know, it's interesting, and it's been really fun to watch because obviously Katie and I, we worked together via Gilded Balloon, Late and Live, and then so you were kind of discussing this whole idea, and then once she kicked it off, there was a couple of times where people were looking for things that I was like, have you heard of Brass Tacks? And I kept phoning her. She was like, are you on my payroll?
Yeah, I did feel like you were like my momager for a minute.
And then she just went woof, and
I'm like, gee, I'm too busy. I'm sorry.
she's forgot all about it. No, it's amazing because obviously you've got the Red Bull support, and then obviously Blackfriars as well. They've come in and you've worked with quite a few exciting acts, and not just Scottish-based acts.
Yes,
you've got a couple of Grace, who was
friend
of the pod.
Yeah, great episode with Grace. I learned all about Irish funerals. It turns out I didn't know a lot. So.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot about Irish funerals as we go. I'm like, God, I need an Irish friend to die.
And Amy and Annette.
Yes.
Yeah. And so again, it's exciting. So your Brass Tacks is not just Scotland based, we're UK wide.
I know, bless them. I feel like, especially last year, they were the two acts, was Amy Annette and Grace Mulvey, and then the whole time maybe like Scottish comedy. They count. Yeah. Amy's like kind of from the States. Grace is Irish. She's one of us.
Yeah. She's Celtic.
Celtic. And then they had this year Jodie Sloan and Tamsin Kelly, who I'm counting as Scottish because they live here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're like token Scots that at least live in the country. Everyone has to have a link, you know?
Yeah.
And then the two like funded debuts, which I'm so excited about.
Io.
Yes,
Jack.
Io. Yeah,
so
Io and
exciting.
Jack. Yeah. I really put my whole thing was, I'm really good at admin. I love admin. I love spreadsheets. I love to organise. How can I use my powers for good?
Yeah.
How can I improve the Scottish comedy scene with admin? Because if I can't like tell great jokes, I have to be able to do something. So I had this big dream of writing essentially like a sponsorship pack, which, because comedians are obviously very creative people, very talented people, but often not great with putting into words like a sponsorship case or like a funding kind of thing.
We're horrible at admin.
We're
horrible.
Yeah, like, hashtag not all comedians, but like most of you are bad at admin. And had this big plan and I was like, fuck it, like worth a shot. Worst case scenario, I like waste some time trying to get. And I thought maybe like a Scottish gin company, like something that would just throw me some cash to support a comedian. And I had like grafted so hard, like wrote this proposal, got loads of friends like outside of comedy to read it from like a business perspective, all this stuff. And this big tracker, I sent it to like over 100 like Scotland based companies. I got honestly maybe like 7 no's, bunch of no responses, and then spoke to Red Bull like through a friend of a friend in a pub. And like this Red Bull contact was like, oh yeah, no, we're doing our Fringe budget right now. That sounds great. Let's chat. I was like, and Red Bull have just been so incredible to work with. They're so in on the project, and my contacts, they were like 2 Scottish people who work at Red Bull who are one of few Scottish people on their team, and like they're so passionate about Scotland and about the Fringe and about supporting me as well, which is, I always kind of forget, like I think it's in my head it's all about Io, and then they want to support a female Scottish comedy promoter to support all these people, and then had this whole panel to help me decide on a person, including Chris Conway of Blackfriars of Bell Street, who went, fuck it, I'll do it, let's do 2.
So amazing.
It was incredible. So now I have 2, Io Adenican and Jack Traynor, who are 2
brilliant, amazing,
tiny baby boys.
Yeah,
they're not tiny baby boys. They're both very, very good at what they do. But in my head,
but they're tiny baby boys.
Yeah, I feel like
fine with it.
I really like got to an age where I had to think about whether or not to have children, and I decided to have Jack and I.
That's a great pair. So congratulations on your children.
That's my own.
But maybe more vomit then.
Maybe I'll send him to the room a couple of times. We'll take bets on like at what point in the Fringe he gets sent to his room.
Absolutely.
That's great. Well, obviously, it sounds like that obviously has been bringing you a lot of joy. So we'll ask you the question, though, why we brought you here today.
Yes.
Sounds like we're getting married. No. Katie, what brings you joy?
Right. I have 2 things, so you have to remind me to get to them. Okay. But the first one, I can't tell whether you're going to love this or whether it's going to be really cheesy and pandering. But genuinely, I've been reflecting a lot. And the thing that brings me joy is comedy. Is this great? Because... And this it sounds like it's preempting. I'm skipping straight to my joy killers, which this isn't a joy killer, but I genuinely believe that anyone who says that they don't like comedy or don't like stand-up comedy or don't like any type of comedy have seen bad comedy and gave up. Like, I really, like, comedy is just laughter. And what's not to love about laughter?
That's very true.
And I like watching comedy, like listening to comedy, taking friends to comedy, being in a room of people all laughing at the same thing is like just such a wonderful experience that I think so many people don't understand that that's part of it. They're like, oh, I don't want a comedian to like ask me what I do. Like that'll be embarrassing. You're like, no, just fucking relax and like watch this thing. And I was like 26 when I realized that not everyone loves stand-up comedy. Like I just took it was just a given that this was just part of life. That everyone grew up watching like Live at the Apollo and like whatever tape was it on sale in like, where did you even used to buy comedy spell? I was going to say W.H. Smith, that's not it.
Probably.
HMV. What was like the, whatever was like on offer, like Lee Evans XL at Wembley, like all this stuff. I thought everyone's childhood was that.
Because when you used to get the DVDs, comedy DVDs for Christmas, that was always, you had all the,
Yeah. And like my family had me watching comedy from far too young. I saw George Carlin live when I was 12.
Wow.
Like in Vegas.
Wow.
They fucked up real bad.
Or did they?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I've met your mum and dad loads. They come to the loads of gigs. They've come to the loads of my gigs, and I've met them very many times. In fact, I met them last weekend outside the King's Theatre, and I was like, hello.
They're huge comedy fans.
Yeah.
But so like they really liked comedy. They didn't know it was weird to like comedy. So there was a whole thing, there's a whole story in the family about when I was a kid I didn't used to laugh. Like I was like, what specifically watching TV, I was a happy child. I would like laugh like in the playground or whatever. But you know, in like Thursday night, she would all sit down as a family and watch Friends and like all that kind of stuff. And they thought it was really, like they were like, God, she hates this. Because I would just sit, I was having a great time, but I would just sit and like watch it.
Yeah, you're one of those audience members I fucking hate.
Yes. As a child, I was very much one of them. I'm like, this is great. Yeah. But then they put Lee Evans on, and it was like the XL one. I remember like the image, like the picture of it on the video, and they put that on, and I remember crying, laughing, and being like embarrassed because my mum and dad obviously kept like looking over because they were like, oh my God, like she finally showed joy. And I think from then they went like, oh, okay, like this is what she likes. So then but then I think they would run out of stuff and go like, oh, okay, we better start putting, like, we need to find more comedy for her. And then I'd be watching stuff that I absolutely shouldn't have been watching. My brother was in Vegas, my brother was like, I really want to see this comedian. Because he would have been like 16. And my family were like, okay, cool, but like, is it fine for Katie? Because we can't leave her in the hotel. Like, she's too young, we can't leave her in the hotel. And I think my brother went like, oh, if I say no, will I not be able to? So he was like, 100%, it'll be absolutely fine. And like cabaret, like Las Vegas front row, and watched George Carlin.
Oh my God.
And like I don't remember any of the joke. There's a joke that my dad won't tell me that he remembers because he's like, God, my kid heard that. But he won't tell me what the joke was. I remember like a lot of people falling into the Grand Canyon was a thing. But I just remember this old guy looking at me and being like,
he said, why is somebody like kid in my show?
God, that's amazing though. What a way to kickstart. So you've just almost, I think you either grew up with cooks. I was the same, like had all the DVDs. Like I remember like running out my like Mock the Week DVD and like Lee Evans and Russell Howard, Billy Connolly and all that sort of thing. I remember the first time, my first comedy special I ever saw was on like Channel 4 at 9 p.m. was an Eddie Izzard special. Nice. And I was just like, what is this stand-up comedy? It was just amazing. And and I think you either grew up with it, or people that don't like comedy, it's like people that have maybe only watched it on like Netflix. And live comedy's so different. It's such a different experience when you're in the audience and like,
I always find it really weird. It happens really often, at least once a month, where somebody will say to me, I find it more now because I'm handing the cards out at the end of gigs, so people chat to you. So many, and normally women who are like, oh my God, this is the first time I've ever been at live stand-up comedy. Right. This has been amazing. I've had such a good night. I'm here with my partner, my pals or whatever. And like women my age, like women in their 40s and their 30s, their 40s and I'm like, how did you get to this age having never seen live stand-up? But it's a question I ask when I'm comparing as well. I'll go, has anybody been here before? Yeah. Is anybody's first time seeing live stand-up? And I've never once had no one.
There's always people that
There's always one person who, at least, who's never been to see live stand-up before.
Like that's just so like crazy. It makes complete sense. But I'm like, what do you do at the weekend? Like,
they watch films and play sports.
Oh yeah,
they're like sporty people.
They're in the sun.
Yeah,
they're in the fresh
air.
In
their basement, like. But then there's the other side of it, which has already started happening. So obviously when you become a comedian, there's a lot of die-hard comedy fans, and there are the fringe die-hard comedy fans, and these are people who spend, it's expensive to do the fringe, but these are people who spend what everybody else would spend on like a fortnight's holiday in Malaga or whatever, and they basically, they get their spreadsheets. They've got, like, they know who they're coming to see. There's one particular person who they normally go to see between 45 and 60 shows every fringe.
Jeez.
And they pay for those. I'm sure they get some comps for some things if they've been come to see people for ages. But, like, they plan the whole thing around, and it's amazing.
Wow, they're just so into it. It's like their Christmas. They're
It's
like,
their total Christmas.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you feel like if you end up on one of those people's lists, you know you've kind of made it. Because those lists are
The
tight.
equivalent of Life at the Apollo.
Gold star.
Yeah, those lists are tight.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I've only got time to see you unless.
Yeah.
So
Are you from Edinburgh, Katie?
Yeah.
So you obviously grew up with the Fringe as well. So
Yeah.
that would have been a big,
Grew up around the Fringe, always loved it. And then again, like later in life went like, oh, do some people in Edinburgh not like the Fringe?
Some people
like what?
hate the Fringe.
And they're obviously like so aware of that, but I was like, what? But it's like on your doorstep. Like that's so exciting. It's on your doorstep. And like, yeah, it took me ages in life to be like, oh, like I moved to Glasgow and I would come home every August to like, and I would work in bars and stuff. And like you worked in the bar so that you got your pass so that you could go see all the shows and like, and I worked in the bars back in the day where it was a bar built by 18-year-olds. Like, like your
before
training,
health and safety.
yeah, like your training days for your bar shift was 2 days of unpaid manual labor where you would like paint. Not to give away the venue, but you'd paint cow splats on planks of wood, and then a bar would pop up, and like now I'm
Other
like, God,
venues also, use
Exploit 18-year-olds.
Exploit 18-year-olds. It's fine. Not anymore. Not since.
This is like 2009 or something. But, but yeah, and I loved it so much, and like would come home every like August, and I'd like stay with my mum and dad and get home at like 6 a.m, and like have to get the night bus back to theirs after my like day of bar shifts and falling asleep in shows because you didn't get any sleep the night before, and it was like the show was great, the falling asleep was on me. There was no reflection of the performance at all. And I just didn't know that people didn't like the Fringe. I've been so like traumatized by like later in life, and it was 2019 working in the Fringe the first time someone said to me, oh, so do you like comedy? I was like, what? Don't we all like firstly, don't we all in society, and also don't we all who work in the Fringe? Like,
No.
but apparently not.
No.
And like that changed, like honestly, someone saying that to me changed the trajectory of my life. Like where I then went like, oh, do you not? And they were like, no, like it's fine. Like I'm not like a huge fan. And because I then went back where I was like, no, because definitely like I've lived in like Glasgow, London and Australia at this point, and every single place I would very regularly be going to like whatever comedy night was like the local night. And I was like texting a few of my friends who would come with me in London and who would come with me in Australia, and like all of these things being like, you're a big comedy fan, right? Because we would always go to comedy together, and they were like, no, you always suggested it and it sounded fun. I was like, what? Like,
your whole worldview has been rocked by people having other interests.
How dare they?
but like this was such a like this, I think that summarized live comedy where all of my friends, if I went like, I really want to see this particular show, or I really want to like go to this comedy club, do you want to go on the Friday? No one ever goes like, oh, that sounds terrible. All of my friends would be like, yeah, sounds great. Like we'd love to do that, and we buy tickets and comedy to have a good time. But then they would just go back to their lives and not be looking at next week's lineup and like and following that comedian that we really liked and seeing where their tour shows on and stuff. We're like, I thought we were all going home and doing that.
I think that's cute.
Thank God you're using your powers for good, Katie.
Is there anything outside of comedy that brings you joy?
I did joke that I was going to like look down the barrel of the camera and be like, Red Bull. But I've come unprepared. I should have brought one with me.
You really should.
Just like hold
Red
one
Bull
up.
UK.
Katie is not sponsored by Red Bull.
Well, my other joyful thing, which is arguably a cop-out answer. I'm basically going to describe the concept of joy as being what makes me joyful, but friend of everyone in the room / of the pod, Marilyn Robertson, told me about the Shetland holiday of Tammasmith. Are you familiar with the Shetland holiday of Tammasmith?
Via our friend of the pod, Marilyn Robertson.
I don't think I am.
I actually think she might have told me when you were there. I think it was like a tour from like a year ago or something. That So Marlene told us this is the Shetland holiday of Tamworth, and I'm probably going to get this wildly wrong because it's one of those, like, I tried to Google it and there's not much online.
Yeah,
she might be having
I
us
think
on.
she makes a lot of this shit up. I'm not even sure she's from Shetland. I'm calling you out, Marilyn.
I've heard her with that London accent. It's just all for show.
Imagine she came
found
back with
a
a London
niche.
accent. Yeah.
Her name's Sarah. Like,
So Marilyn told us about Tamworth, which is on the shortest day of the year. So like the 21st or 2nd of December, whenever that is. And it's, the way she described it was in Shetland, in the fairy tale land of Shetland, in order to will the sun back, everyone has to, from the minute the sun comes up to the minute the sun goes down, you have to be joyful. You just have to like, and so the way she described it was like, some people are out in the street having like street parties, other people they're like in bed reading a book or like eating all their favourite food or whatever. So I also work for the Glasgow Comedy Festival, and I, after that tour, went back and told everyone just to be like, oh my God, there's this like really cool thing that Marlene told me about. And Krista, the festival director of the Glasgow Comedy Festival, said, well, we'll close the office early and we'll be doing that. And so we did it, and it has changed. So now for the past, that was Christmas last year, I have now done what I now have deemed Joy Day, because I think you can't call it Tamworth, but I now do monthly Joy Day because I found it, and we all talked about this in the office because we were all going like, oh, fuck, what are you going to do for Tamworth? Like, and it was such a, like, you had to really reflect on what made you joyful.
Yeah.
And on that day, because like what makes you joyful one day might be different to another day. And like, we were all going like, oh, do you go to the gym? Because then that like isn't like joyful in the moment, but like is long term. And we were all like, oh God, and it felt like this like psychological like therapy to be like, what does bring me joy? Like, oh my God, I don't know.
Happy?
And I went to the cinema on my own, and I bought a bunch of I walked like up Leith Walk and bought a bunch of lovely snacks and got like a little Prosecco and watched a movie by myself.
That sounds amazing.
And it was so great. But now I do this once a month. I put it in my calendar.
Oh.
And my boyfriend Craig's always like, how come Joy Day's always on a day when I'm working?
Well, Craig.
That's so brilliant.
What you don't bring me.
Yeah.
But only because it has like, I feel like you're both very like busy people. You probably relate to this. I think a lot of people do this where it's always like long-term joy. Like I'm always like, you finish work and you're like, oh, well, I'll just quickly put a load of washing in so that I can relax later. And like, oh, well, I'll just quickly send that email for tomorrow so that I can relax
And it's
later.
10
and like,
at night.
And then it's 10 at night.
Yeah.
So
Every day is that.
but I'm constantly going like, oh, but I won't be able to relax unless I do this thing, so I'll do it. And then you've just actually like wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
And but also on Joy Day, I like set an alarm so that I remember, and then you just have to wake up and go like, right, I'm gonna stay in bed for an hour and watch TikTok, or like, right, I'm gonna get up and go for a run, or like, and it's really, I don't know, it's really like a psychological experiment to be like, what in this moment right now will make me happy? And obviously it's never putting a washing on or like doing the dishes. It's never any of that shit. It's always like, I'm gonna have a drink. Fuck it. Or like, I'm gonna make pancakes for breakfast and then watch telly all day. Like one Joy Day, I just didn't leave the couch. I bailed on someone's birthday. I was like, it's Joy Day and I'm not leaving the house.
I love it.
So great that
Although
you
I
like.
was very upset she never turned up for my party.
It's great that you schedule in joy time.
I know, that's how neurotic
That is the most like planning admin comedy promoter answer we've
She's
ever
got it in a
had.
spresheet, mate.
The joyful spreadsheet.
She has a joy spreadsheet where
I do.
she's like got however many people that we've interviewed, and like, and I don't even know how many episodes we've done.
I have it on the spreadsheet. I have a calendar, and I have
Nice.
because I like a wee spreadsheet as
Yeah.
well. But that's so amazing that you and each month it changes depending on what you want to do.
Depends on
and
like what you want,
that's
what
brilliant.
the weather's like.
And
So
what
now
would you
I
do
like-
for Joy Day? If you had to have a Joy Day tomorrow,
Sleep, mate.
just sleep at the moment.
What I would really love to do, I tell you what, and I've not done this for such a long time. What I used to do before I had a child was have a spa day.
Oh yes,
Because I love a massage, I love a facial, I love sitting in a hot tub, and I love a Prosecco, and I also love a bun. So, like,
bun.
like
Good snack
a wee-
choice.
yeah, like a wee
I think the specificity of the
cake,
bun.
yeah. A wee scone. I like that. I'm very partial to those 3 tray things. I like those.
Oh, the
tea tray
wee
thing.
the wee
Oh.
afternoon teas.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be those things on it. Just put anything on 3 trays in front of me, and I'm like,
I was going to say, did you just specify that as your snack of choice would be three trays of snacks.
Three trays of snacks.
Don't care what's on them, it's the quantity.
Yeah, the quantity. I like the 3-tray dynamic.
All just scones.
Yes, hundreds of scones. Just a pile of scones. So I used to like a spaddy, but now I get mum guilt. Anything that I do now, unless it is with my son, brings me guilt.
Really? That's tough.
It is. I kind of used to it now, but this week has been lovely. So his dad has been super hard at work, which is a shame because it's the Easter break and we're not seeing much of him. But I've actually like had such a lovely time. We went to IKEA,
Nice.
which he loved.
Love
We
an
just
IKEA
wandered
trip.
around IKEA, bought a new rug. Like we've been bowling. We've been on the beach. We had s'mores on the beach and stuff. And,
Nice.
like we've done loads of. We've been a walk up Arthur's Seat. Like we've just done loads of. So that's brought me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Spending time with my little one.
Oh.
Yeah,
Lovely.
but also I'll do like a spa.
But flight and shade. You need a little
Yeah.
bit of relaxation, and wait till you get him into spas. Combine the two.
Oh my goodness. Is this a great point to bring in the next section?
I think it is.
Jay's Joy Killers. Again, I'm not sure why we use this picture every time. This is the part of the show where we ask you, Katie, what kills your joy?
Right. This has also been difficult because I feel like there's loads of stuff, and then when you're put under pressure you can't remember any. And I was speaking to Craig this morning. I've been like, what are the things that bring me joy? And he was like, when I close the doors and you prefer them open, or when I leave the washing unhung up and all that stuff. But I feel like I had a serious one and then I was going to do my particularly petty one, but now I can't remember what my serious one was. Not like serious
Yeah.
My petty one, which I'm scared, it's one of those that when like notice like this isn't it, but when like you notice a clock tick and then you tell someone else and then you're like, fucking why did you tell me that, because now I can't unsee it. I'm scared that if I tell people this,
Are you about to ruin something for us?
you can't unsee it.
Okay.
It's not even going to ruin the thing, it's just going to ruin your day.
Okay, great.
This is a thing that I noticed in lockdown and I can't unsee it.
Okay.
Where I like to walk fast, right?
Yeah.
And obviously there's quite a common one where you like to walk fast, you don't like a dawdler. I don't even mind a dawdler because I'll cut and weave. Like I've had years of practice of cutting and weaving. But I feel like there's a thing, and I don't know if I've missed a brief. Was there like a public health announcement where everyone's keeping to the right, but it makes more sense to keep to the left?
Yes.
Because what if you're on a bike path? And I think in lockdown, especially in the era of lockdown where you were like, going out for your walk was your only joy, but you also were like, everyone stay away from me.
Yeah.
I thought, let's all collectively just keep to the left, and then that way we can all cross each other. And everyone was avidly keeping right. But to the point where I would sometimes be really stubborn and be like, well, we're on a bike path, so surely the cyclists who are road safety trained are going to be on the left. But it means that everyone keeps to the right, but then the bikes go out, and it confuses me so much. And now that when see if you walk around the meadows, there's a briefing. There must be signs up at the corner of the meadows saying everyone keep to the right, because it's crazy.
My little dyslexic brain can't understand this.
So like as if like imagine you're driving, so everyone drives on the left. Everyone should walk on the left.
Yeah, because that way you can
Okay.
overtake
That's what-
safely.
Yeah, because and that I'm with you. When
I think we're just as neurotic
I
as each
thi-
other.
I think
Jay's too much of a joyful person to understand
like-
this.
Jay's just a narcissist who walks in the middle.
with their arms out, just clotheslining people.
Clotheslining grannies.
I'm with you on this, right? Because I think right, we're in the UK on the left, but when
Does that mean when you go to America?
on the right, I think it's whatever side you should drive, and I'm with you. I think bikes, because I don't have a car, so I walk over in Edinburgh. If you ever walk on the canals,
Yes.
oh my god, it
the canals
drives
that get
me
you.
up. Because
I'm
the bike-
enjoying this because I can't feel the rage that you're both feeling.
It's just and there's prams and there's
Yeah.
bikes, and it's like if we all just. I wonder if it's like because there's so many tourists here, and I'm not blaming the Americans.
Is it not just that most statistically, this is what I feel about right and left, right? Statistically, most people are right-handed, and so generally you tend to favour the right-hand side for everything because you're right-handed.
Interesting.
True.
Are
Is
you
that
a
it?
lefty?
No, I'm a right-handed
I'm
person.
as well. But I'm with you. I'm with rules of the road apply to the pavement. I'm with you.
Because if everyone did that, then the dawdle, because now we might, as a society, fall into an overtaken lane.
Yeah.
Which I think every fast walker on the planet would appreciate.
And I think so. And I think if you're a dawdler, you need to stay right in so I
Yeah.
can overtake you. It's
So
like-
if you spin in a circle, which way do you go?
I would go clockwise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so right.
Yeah, but then But then I still think it's the driving thing. I think you have to go on that side of the.
Yeah, because in what context am I spinning in a circle? Is it for fun or is it for? Because that's
Well,
different.
does it matter? Do you spin in a different way for?
Yeah, I guess you're only going to be spinning for fun, aren't you? I'm spinning in a very serious, in a professional manner.
But I'm with you on this one, Katie. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it's...
I'm going to have to go out into the wild and try and observe this now.
After this, let's hit the canals.
Like, shall we?
Yeah, we'll hit the canals, get some heavy duty canal buzz going. That's weird. I've never noticed that.
But to the point where people, if I'm like, if you don't know about a left or right system, then surely you're just kind of dawdling down a path. But it feels like people are really clinging to the right hand side of any given path.
What I find really annoying is when people stop.
Oh my God.
And then just don't seem to care about other people around them.
Yeah.
People who stand in doorways. I feel like if you stand in a doorway and then you go, oh, is there somebody else trying to get through this doorway? I think you should be allowed to kick those people.
Yeah. That's fair.
Always presume that someone wants in a doorway.
Yeah.
Don't stop in a doorway.
Yeah. I'm such a neurotic freak that I like check my wing mirrors before I change direction. Like if I'm walking and I need to stop, I'll like, and like I pull over safely.
Oh, you have to,
because
you get taken out by a fucking Uber Eats bike if you're not careful. I always got to check the thing, look behind me.
Yeah.
I'm always very
Children
aware.
are the worst at stopping for no reason. I'm always like,
And you can't kick the kids.
Yeah, it's frowned upon.
Depends.
If you make it look like an accident.
Cool. Shall we jump on to our last wee bit? But I agree with you on that, Katie.
I'm glad to find out that you're as neurotic as I am.
And I'm not even great at my left and rights, but I still think on the left.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at giving directions. I'm like left, right. But I know.
For our final little bit of today's podcast,
Yes, we have Hannah's headlines. So I bring in a story that I've seen that's been interesting or brought me joy. So this week, the news is that the UK is getting a brand new Universal theme park. Very exciting. So it's going to be set near Bedfordshire. So I think it's like an hour out of London.
and Luton, mate.
Yeah, oh, is it?
No, Bedfordshire's in Luton. No, Luton's in Bedfordshire.
So I think, it's set around there and it's going to be one of the biggest ones in Europe. It's our first sort of big mass one in the UK. And so we're going to have our own Universal in the UK. And it's going to have things like James Bond, Paddington, Lord of the Rings, Minions, not Harry Potter, because Harry Potter World is very close to that, but at some point. So I was like, this is exciting that we'll be able to go to, though I have reservations about a Universal experience in the UK. Because you go to Universal and Disneyland, and when it's sunny and abroad and everyone's happy, you can
Everyone's keeping to one side.
You keep to the left.
Is this going to be Alton Towers vibes? Is that what you're...
It might. Well, I think they're going to try and bring the Americanness to it, but I don't know if that's going to translate because you're going to have miserable teenagers.
Yeah.
Just like you couldn't have a Disneyland in the UK because that's too magical. Like you can't have a depressed Mickey and
also
Minnie.
be like, have a nice day.
I'm on a smoke break, didn't talk to me.
Although
But
I did see on TikTok people having a fight in Disneyland. Which I thought was like, how in Disney World it
keeping
was
of the
actually.
magic?
Yeah, a family having like a Barney, like 2 adult men and 2 adult women with prams with kids in them having
my
a
God.
fisticuffs in Disneyland. And I was like, that's horrendous.
I know you can't. It's not ruin the magic.
You're not even allowed to drink in Disney World. There's no alcohol in Disney World. No. Get alcohol in Universal, but not in Disney World because it's supposed to be like for the kids.
Yeah,
So.
true.
Right. Well, maybe that's why they were arguing. Like, I need a beer. So yeah, I think this will be quite exciting. So
I'm quite excited. I loved Universal Studios. I went to Universal Studios when I was in my, I don't know, I think I was 11 or something. And they had an Alfred Hitchcock area thing. And it was the first time, so you got to be part of the visual effects. So I had a thing where the birds came down on me, and then I got chosen, because I'm a pick-me girl, I got chosen to fall off the Statue of Liberty. And for years I had a video of me falling off the Statue of Liberty. So you held on to a thing, and then you were on a chair, and you went, this, and the chair supported your back, but you could do this and that with your hands. And I had a wee VHS tape, because I'm ancient, of me doing that at Universal Studios.
Yeah, I've been to the one in California probably about 15 years ago now, and we did like the tour, and it's like the Desperate Housewives Street and the Bates Motel and War of the Worlds and all that, and the rides were pretty good as well. I remember we were on the Jurassic Park ride and it broke down like in the middle of it, and then all the lights came on and all the wee pterodactyls are just hanging by the strings and kind of took the magic out of it, so we were stuck there for like 15 minutes just looking at all the robotic stuff, and then it just started up again and we were right at the end, so there was like ready go, and we just went firing like down into the water bit, and we were just like so not ready for it. So that was I think Universal will be
I think it'll be amazing because like having been to kind of Alton Towers and places
it's
like that,
not a lot of competition.
It's not competition. I remember like when you would speak to somebody as a teenager, and I was very, very lucky that I got to go to somewhere like that. But I remember like speaking to people who'd been to like Blackpool Pleasure Beach and try to explain Universal Studios to them in a way that it's like, because I remember going on the King Kong ride, and it's like you walk through New York. You would walk through. It was like as if you were in New York. The people were fully committed to this, and it's things like what I love about this is like, you're going to have set designers. There's going to be such a huge industry. So I read that it's going to take 6 years for them to build.
It sounds about right.
But that's quite good. So by the time it's ready, my wee boy will be like old enough to get on all the scary rides.
Yeah, this is just for you that they're building this. They've timed
I didn't
it.
want to see.
Well, just wait until he's the right height, and then.
Do you like rides yourself?
I do like rides. I went to Universal and stuff as a kid. I don't, probably similar age, like that kind of like 11, 12ish, and loved it. But now my fear with it, because I remember exactly all of that, like it's so real. But then, when you're like, is that because I was a kid? Like if I go back, is it going to ruin the memory? And you're actually going to see that it's actually a bit shitty. And like if you look around, you can tell you're not in New York.
No, I think the Universal money is like, I think if you went to like Alton Towers or Thorpe Park or like Flamingo Land, and and we all been at Flamingo Land, and it's always terrible. But I think like because it's like it's a set design and it's the whole experience.
So amazing. Like I've been to Universal in California much more recently, and even as an adult, I was like, this is insane good. I did a Minions thing where it was like one of the like a kind of where you wear the goggles, like the VR type stuff. But also you were getting like soaked in the face and you could feel them running around your legs and stuff.
That.
And like, well, I did an Aliens one in Universal when I was about 4. We went back again when I was 14, and I still remember having nightmares because it breathed on your neck and you get slimed and all that sort of stuff.
I remember I did there was like the mummy one, and it was like the spider like the in the back of your legs. And I remember and I sat like legs up like that. Because I didn't want anything on me because you were just like, ugh. But I do like roller coasters. I'm terrified of heights, but I do like roller coasters. Like it's that weird but like I enjoy it.
There's a weird thing that you get now as an adult. I think it happened to me after 40, is that you have a weird inner ear thing where you can't do a lot of upside down stuff anymore.
Oh really?
It is an actual thing. It makes you, because I don't know, something happens within your inner ear the older that you get. I don't know if it narrows or it gets bigger. I can't remember which way around it is. So even like swinging on a swing,
you get
make
really
me motion sickness.
Wow.
Mine is a lot better now because of pole.
Right, yeah, true.
But like, I remember when it started happening to me, I read into it, and apparently it's another thing about getting. I'm always on the joy agenda moaning about being old, but I'm very excited for Universal Studios to come.
I think it'll be great.
It might be open in time for my 50th.
That would be brilliant. Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm not 50 in 6 years, by the way, but I was thinking by the time I save up enough money.
Perfect.
It's 7. That year makes a big difference.
It does. Oh man. Well,
Katie, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
So Brass Tacks Comedy on Instagram, just at Brass Tacks Comedy, and there's lots of hopefully nice things in there. If you're a comedy fan, then it's just me talking about comedy that I love and what's happening in Scotland. If you're a comedian, there's like free downloads to help with like fringe budgets and navigating the fringe, and there's like a mailing list, and all the shows, all the fringe shows and like upcoming tours and stuff are all on there as well.
Perfect. Yay. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been so lovely to chat to you.
Great to have you and hear all about your comedy geek joy. I love it.
Yes, yeah. God, I could talk for days about how much I love comedy.
Have you got anything to promote yourself, Hannah?
I don't think so. I'm doing the fringe, as is everybody. Link to my fringe show in my Instagram bio, which is at It's Hannah Campbell. My show is called Me. It's on at 4:20 every day at the Gilded Balloon in August. What about you?
Again, the Edinburgh Fringe. Oofed. 5 o'clock at the Stand Comedy Club, Stand 1, every day except for the 11th.
Lovely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for listening.
Go, rate, 5 stars, all that jazz.
You know it.
You know the drill, but actually do it.
If you're listening, you can watch this on YouTube. And if you're watching it on YouTube, just score us on Spotify as well. We need you all to just band together.
Just score it all up.
Okay, bye.